Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. The double. That means double up. Like a motherfucking smack at it. All that is, you can tell by that thumbnail right there. Let's get it in. We're going to talk about something that nobody else has talked about on YouTube. I've always wondered why no one has spoken on it. Sucka, I didn't even talk about it. It went right over my head and said I knew all about it and never spoke one word on it. I guess there was too much going on and not enough time. But today, I got time, right? In a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to talk about, as you can tell by the thumbnail, the Sucka free Nortenos, right? Sucka free, orale, right? Another dropout gang that was formulated. Probably formulated around the same time as the Northern Riders. I think the Northern Riders were actually formulated before the Sucka Frees. But it was something that kind of took notice for a while. And started to accumulate numbers. You know, they started to gain numbers. Now, I know on YouTube, man, nobody, I've seen every channel, has talked about the Sucka free Nortenos, right? No one has mentioned it or even suggested that there was a gang such as the Sucka free Nortenos ever in existence. But I'm here to tell you, yes, there was, and there still may be. Now, most of these vatos have gravitated towards being Northern Riders or other different groups or just stopped their affiliation altogether. But they were more of a 50-50 yard type gang, okay? These guys more gravitated towards the 50-50 yards, which are no longer in existence, rather than the SNY yards that are almost also non-existent, right? Or non-existent today. Now, the founder of the Sucka Frees, you know, I can't call it like an alcoholic. I know that there's a guy that his name always pops up. You know, he pops up as one of the founding fathers of Nueva Flor, the New Flowers, which is another group that was started as an offshoot, of course, of the Nortenos being Fast Eddie. I know that his name was also mentioned when it came to the Sucka Frees. I remember talking to a lot of the dudes from Sucka Frees and them explaining the situation. Now, along with the Sucka Free gang, there was also another group called Full 60. Okay? At the time of the 2000s, there was a lot of dropouts. A lot of people were dropping out. A lot of people were becoming disenchanted with what was going on. A lot of people were getting removed, whether it be justly or unjustly. There was just a lot going on, homes. There was a lot of these group organizations cleaning up basura and trash, people they considered the weak links, people they considered in bad standings. There just was a lot going on in the mid to late 2000s. Now, at this time, prior to that, there was not what you would consider dropout gangs or different avenues to go down to keep the fire burning. A lot of people that were unjustly hit, whacked, pushed out of the gang homes were not satisfied, meaning they still had that flame burning, whether it was north or south. Okay, so what a lot of these guys did was they either had grudges, they felt some type of way because of the position they were put in. So I'm not done yet, that's it, you're done, puto. But I'm not, but you are, but I'm not, and I am not, no. So I was scared. What they did was they started to formulate or whether start or join existing groups that still were gangbanging, that still had an agenda or some motivation behind them to be in that type of mix, that type of world. Vatos didn't just hang up the boots. They couldn't just stop. You know, there was a lot of individuals such as myself that said, you know what, hey, if you don't want me, I say, fuck it then. I'm gone. You know what I mean? I'm going to do my own thing. And people were like, hey, come over here with us. The water's better over here. Nah, I don't get down, homes. I was already over there chilling with the big homie. Why am I going to come over here? You know, do your thing and say, I'm going to do mine. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to go get a mamon. What are you going to do? Right? A mamon, shit, it'd be like that sometimes out there. Yeah, hey, believe me, on the streets, the wind blows. I said, see, 2 fingers? Anything can happen. You know what I mean? So you just go out there and do your thing. Anyways, a lot of these guys, for whatever reason that they, you know, is their reason, they started to join these groups. Now, I remember hearing about a lot of different, what I considered myself, dropout gangs. Now, there's a lot of people that became affiliated or part of these gangs that would be mad at me. So, we ain't no fucking dropout gangs. What you talking about? Well, wait up, homie. You was over here, now you're over there. You dropped out of that to go in there. I ain't never been a dropout. I never dropped in or dropped out. You know what the game is. Okay, we'll spend some latira, humps. I don't know what kind of group you're from, but they ain't the original ones, you know, that you were dropped into 2 years ago when we were Sally's and Tracy, right? Whatever the case may be, there's going to be arguments on both sides. There was now a lot of different groups people could affiliate with, north and south. Perros también, right? Cutthroats y todo más, right? A lot of these groups don't get spoken on. You know, we hear constantly about Northern Riders. We constantly hear about New Flowers, Two Fivers, Green Lighters, que no la crean. All these different groups we hear about, but we never hear about these smaller subgroups. Or these groups that were established way before, but just never took fire. You know, Independent Riders is a group that I could say still is around. You know, we're hearing about new groups like Zapatistas, as well as Nuestra Cosa. We're hearing about, you know, there's old school groups, like I said, Sucka Free Nortenos, Full 60, Capital Punishment, Cutthroat Bulldog, and fucking BBW, Get No Whack 100. All kinds of different groups that people join. And of course, say it with your chest, favorite group, GBG. Now, when people, like I said, still have that burning flame in their heart, when they still want to gangbang, homes, there's so many different groups to choose from, whether it be on the SNY yards or the 50-50 yards. And of course, Sucka Free Nortenos was a well-established group on the 50-50 yards that still basically carried themselves as Nortenos, still carry that name, that word, but we're totally against the grain, even more so than the Northern Riders. Whereas with the Northern Riders, in the beginning, their agenda was self-preservation to protect themselves against active Norteños. That was their goal. That's what they were about. Later on in life, homes, they got so deep, and they got so many different personalities. They kind of went one way, which was more of establishing their own face, their own name. Rather, in the beginning, like I said, it was more about self-protection and coming together on some canalismo shit to help each other. Sucka Free Norteños were different, homes. They were a bunch of Norteños that felt that they were done wrong. You know, you had to have certain types of paperwork to join them. You had to be blemish-free. You couldn't have no weird cases. Now, I'm not saying you can to join the Northern Riders. I'm sure they don't fuck with chiruos and weirdos as well. But I know when it came to the Sucka Free Norteños, you had to be blemish-free. You had to be unjustly removed. You had to prove to these said individuals, homes, that you were not cagada or trash, homes, that you were actually a righteous homeboy that got removed, that was still ready to go. That's why they called themselves Sucka Free. Some they didn't want no suckers involved, homes. They was free of that bullshit. So I was scared. It don't cost nothing to come in here. But you had to make sure that you were really dedicated to going to that group, homes, and handling their business. And these vatos started to accumulate numbers. Like I said, at one point in time, homes, in the beginning of the association, or me knowing them, I'm not going to say I was associated like I was part of this group, but I knew of them and knew exactly what was going down with them, and knew a lot of them and respected a lot of them because they were good homeboys that I had been selling with on the yards with. I was like, damn, that's a fucking good ass homeboy sideline right there. All right, there, pinche. And all of a sudden, he turns around with a big old SF right here. I said, you're from Frisco, I said. What are you from the Mission District? Stop it. Charlie, I'm from Sucka Free. Yeah, yeah, fuck these suckers. I'm free too. I said, actually, I don't got my freedom right now. I'm locked up, but what happened? No, I'm from Sucka Free Nortenos. Spam on la tira. There you go again, right? There you go, telling me no again. Right? They're doing their thing. So I started to learn the history and what was going on behind it. And like I said, at one point in time, homes, they were actually not rivaling the Northern Riders for numbers, but competing for numbers. There was a lot of vatos, homes, that were going one way or the other. Now, eventually, over time, I don't know what happened. So I get out of jail. You know what I mean? I don't pay no attention to neither one of these factions and what they got going on. Because again, homes, it's none of my business. I'm not associated like that. I know vatos from these groups, homes, just like anybody would know anyone. But I'm not kicking it and associated with them. So I'm over here going pinchy pirujas trying to get the most mamos I can in the world, right? So I'm living my best life, or what I thought was at that point. And I guess somewhere along the lines, by them shutting these 50-50 yards down, these Sucka Free Norteños started to gravitate towards these SNY yards or wherever the administration will place them. See, it's not like people say, Holmes, orale powder. It's not like you can just, hey, oh, you guys are going to shut this yard down, send me to GP. No, you can't. You can sign your chrono off all you want, Holmes. They're not sending you to GP. There's no way. You think a placa is going to do more paperwork than he has to? McFly. Listen, Bob, so it's not going to happen. Okay, Spencer Latita, Holmes, anyone that's been incarcerated is going to tell you. Maybe back in the 70s, early 80s, Holmes, you were able to squeak by with a pedazo on your asshole and go out there to the yard and scrape someone or they scraped you. But Spencer, Holmes, I'm telling you, they're going to keep you segregated. So anyways, most of these yardas, they shut down. They decided that for no other reason, man, it was just not cost effective to control these 50-50 yards. And they started to mix and mingle the SNY yards with these groups, basically put them together. And the sucker-free movement, I guess, dissipated, and these guys joined in to the Northern Riders or stopped their affiliations altogether, you know, depending upon what their true beliefs were. Now, I know that as far as the sucker-free Nortenos, what I appreciated and liked about the group, right? Not that I ever was or would ever join what I considered a dropout gang at that time, right? Was the fact that they still checked papeles. They had there was a mutual understanding there with other people that were not affiliated. They didn't fuck with them, Holmes. They weren't tripping, Holmes. You had a choice and you chose right. You had a choice, bro. It wasn't like, hey, you're on our yard. We control this. You're either this or you get the fuck on down the road. Nah, if you fucking weren't in bad standings, if you weren't a weirdo, Holmes, a chilujo or nothing like that, that was drawing attention, Holmes, or in there on some basura shit, they didn't care, bro. Now, if you were on the yarda because you burnt every fucking homeboy fucking there was, and you caused a wreck on your way out, well, Sasuke, they were going to feel some type of way, and they're going to be like, Charlie, Holmes, you're not going to be here because guess what? You already have historia. You have a history, Holmes. You have a pattern of going to yards and burning people for drogas. But guess what? They said, get the fuck over here, puto. No, I don't even want. Yeah, I know you don't, but this is the way it's going to be. I said, puro saca free. They were tripping, and they slipped the clip in and got to spin, and dudes were gone. They still had integrity. Okay, a lot of people automatically assume, oh, you're a DO, you're a punk. You know what I mean? You lose your integrity or your respect or what you're about. And I mean, that's furthest from the truth, man. It's furthest from the truth. You could be one homeboy one day. Just imagine this. Super highly active with the business, well respected in the water. Motherfuckers know better, so they do better, right? They walk lightly around you with that stick, because you ain't playing, right? You're just that one, Holmes. Everybody loves you, got hella love for you. Any fucking institution or fucking yarda or compa or fucking building you go to, Holmes, you're well respected. You're that one. And somewhere along the line, Holmes, you're on going to chow and a white guy's walking. You guys kind of graze each other, bump, and he's like, what? And he takes flight on you right there because he's having a bad day. And he drops you, Holmes, and next thing you know, he's stomping you out. A fucking riot kicks off. You know, they throw out there the propaganda that you were fucking mean mugging. You pushed up on him, Holmes. And next thing you know, the homeboys are like, nah, fuck that, bro. They're not even going to give you your due process. They're going to be like, So you're causing a wreck over here, Holmes. I had a lot of shit going on, Holmes. We're making a lot of money. You know what? You got to go, ese. Right? Boom. Next thing you know, 2 days later, you're on a 50-50 yard going pinchy sucker first talking about what happened, ese. I never seen no shit like this. I'm not trying to see what this be like. This is something strange for a piece of change. She's trying to suck my shit from the back. And it ain't even a she, right? You're just wondering what the hell's going on. You were just righteous. And all the motherfucking youngsters and people that were fucking in your foot, the motherfuckers that was following you to the T, they're over there like, hey, piece of shit. You no good, Holmes. You're no good. Orale, you feel like fucking Tony Montana when he went to his mom's house and she said, Gina, no, right? I'd have picked up my thigh while I'm pushing. Fuck you there, moms. You ain't got no comment. Gina, so scared. You're going to date Manny anyways. I can already see it. Manny's looking at you like this. Now, fuck you, right? I'm out. That's okay. Straight up. I'm going to go bone Michelle Pfeiffer. Anyways, so you have to understand that's how simple and how easy it was, or how easy it is to go one day from the most solid individual to pudding, mush, the next day, to being considered, Holmes, trash. And it's a hurtful thing, Holmes, to your pride, your ego, your heart. Not necessarily to your physical well-being, unless you got removed on some sucky shit, then that's on you. But it's a hard thing to stomach. When you've strived for so long and your career's over, Holmes, and there's nothing you can do about it, and then you got all these fucking little fucking tontos jump online talking about, hey, Dio, you're a Dio, you're a Dio. Your jefita's a Dio también. ¿Sabes qué? Dropped in and dropped out, they dropped in, they dropped out, they dropped in, they dropped out. You know what I mean? I know what time it is, bro. Don't speak unless you're spoken to, I say. And in that fashion. Anyways, my blood pressure's going. The wind's blowing. What I'm saying is the Sucka-free Norteños were a group that felt the way that I just expressed. They felt they were unjustly ridiculed or shit talked about them, so they formulated this group. And for a while, almost several years, they held it down. They got to the point where they were starting to parole and push their movement. Like I said, it wasn't a flash in the pan. It wasn't something that was there one day and then gone the next day. It was actually around and established for several years, which is why I tripped that no one's ever mentioned the Sucka-free Norteños. It was a pretty large group with a lot of guys. You know, you might even nowadays still run into some of these northern riders that do have, which is a San Francisco 49ers shield on them, which was an SF, which was for Sucka-free. One of their symbolizations on their head, they used to get in their cheeks. And they're asked, hey, what the fuck you suck? You're a hardcore Niner fan. They say, go fucking Bosa, right? Go Nick Bosa. Vatos like, who the fuck is that? Says, que Sucka-free, is it? Right? And in that fashion, they're like, oh, you suck if you ain't. So look, it was a group that was around. You know, I know, were they harder than any other group? No. No, absolutely not, Holmes. I think they were just like any other of these other groups. They just had a movement, they had beliefs, and they pushed it, and they rocked that narrative. Like I said, the one thing I agreed with them on was the fact that they all had a common understanding, Holmes, that they weren't going to go out like no fucking punks and no suckers, man. They was going to be sucker-free. And they were definitely going to keep that banner of Norteñoism alive, Holmes. They still believed in being a Norteño, whether they were not functioning under a certain organization or group, Holmes, and they were in bad standings, considered fucking trash amongst the general population. You got to understand that they also consider the general population trash. So it went both ways. Just the way it was. Me, I had no horse in the race. I will continue to not have a horse in the race because I'm too old for that bullshit, right? But it was the one group that, like I said, that has not ever been spoken on in YouTube until now, until today, until I finally fucking put it on the map. And I know that other people are going to touch on it because it's a real righteous thing. You know, it's something that was really around. As far as them having enemigas, as far as like the 2-5ers or independent riders, they still carried that animosity in their heart for the South. That was one thing I didn't enjoy about that group. I would tell certain homeboys of mine from Merced that we're part of that group. Hey, Holmes, you guys are still playing them games consider based on the Norte and the Sur, Holmes. Get your shit together, Holmes. You got Norteños that want to get you. You know what I mean? Southsiders ain't even tripping off you. I said, get that. Hey, watch out. I said, do you see me over here? Bug. They were doing their own thing. They didn't have time. Today, there was no time, cuz. Say with your chest on power. There was no time. There wasn't on no BBW shit, get no like 100. They were just doing their thing. But these dudes still played that. And I didn't like that. But that was one of their downfalls. Anyways, eventually, like I said, over time, when these yardas got shut down, Holmes, it didn't seem righteous, I guess, to continue to push this movement for one reason or the next. And most of them, 90% of them joined the Northern Riders, which a lot of different groups did, Holmes. Northern Riders, they basically fell into the fold, Holmes, because they were the dominant group taking over as far as, you know, not only on the SNY yards, but on other yards as well. You know, a lot of guys like Snoop, shout out respects to the Vato, Holmes. He'll like to say that, you know, we're not an SNY group, but I'm never going to put that label on them. What I am going to say is there was a lot of Vatos definitely claiming that from the SNY, whether they were certified or not, or whatever the case may be. I can't call it. It's none of my business. But I do know a lot of Vatos that did go to them yards, gravitated towards that. And that was it. More soldiers for the movement, I guess, or whatever that case may be. Anyways, just another group I wanted to spring on you, put on you, man. Yes, it was an actual thing, man. Look into Google it and see you don't believe me. See, the wind blows. Google it. Sucka-free Norteños, Homes were around. Rest in peace. The Vatos not around anymore. But they definitely were doing their damn thing for a while, Homes. And they held it down. You know, they were considered a vicious group because just like the Norteños are respected and vicious, there were a whole bunch of Norteños respected that were vicious. And that's a fact. With that being said, I hope that you move slow with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about struggling and striving for your familia. Hey, you can start a game mañana if you want. Says, kid, I don't know if we're going to respect the shit, right? But you can start it tomorrow. Hey, where you from? I'm from Vale Verga. Puro Vale Verga gang. Barrio. You're from Barrio Vale Verga? Then you guys get, hey, it's tight over there, huh? I heard that fucking, you guys are, that one alley in between 7-Eleven and fucking Kmart, eh? Simon, right there in the parking lot, I said, we be getting it in. That's my barrio, Vale Verga. Vatos are getting it right here. Barrio Vale Verga, 3 V's. Anyways, join groups, gangs, do whatever you want, homes. But at the end of the day, it's totally up to you how you're going to make it. Don't fake it. Just take it. That's it. With that being said, hit that thumbs up one time if you like your boy. If not, thumbs down. If he's going to be the head that wears the crown, I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I fucking really, truly believe in. I believe in it, Lacra. No, I don't want to bone you. I believe in it, right? I believe in unity for all people. Respect to all people. Even you, puto. Get your shit together. The gun. The raza. Bang, bang.